Hello everybody, this is Slime and Swag here, and welcome back to the first, two Java Minecraft 1.17 snapshots of the Caves and Cliffs update. So today, we're going to be going over what has happened and what has been added in the 20W46A snapshot, as well as the 20W45A snapshots. So first of all, we have these glorious things. The candles. And I will say real quick, unfortunately, if you saw my last video on the Minecraft Bedrock betas, goats and the goat horn respectively have not been added to Java yet. So that's a bit sad, but I expect they will sometime soon. Also, sorry for not uploading last week. If any of you guys were wondering about that, about why I didn't upload, I was just on the move last week and just couldn't get time to record, but whatever, we're here now with these two snapshots. So first of all, we have candles, glorious. They come in all 16 colors and a base color, which to be honest, I would have expected this to be the white variety, and then just the rest be whatever. But white is a very well-defined white. And as you can see, this is what the icon looks like. It changes slightly based on what color candle you pick up, but they're pretty much the same. You can stack up to 4 of them on a single block like sea pickles or turtle eggs, and you place them down and you just right click them with a flint and steel, and there you go. Now you can also put them out with a dispenser using a water bucket right there, and if I were to swap this out, it will also light it like that, but it has to be touching the block. And you can also use a fire charge in case you would ever want to, but you'd have to hit the block. And these right here, you can see they give out a light level of... Oh, come on, I forgot where the light level is. Hold on, what? Client light, 15. Okay, block light, 12. 10, 8, 6. Okay, well, at least in the last snapshot, these gave off a light level 3 each, so it would be 3, 6, 9, 12. You might see that come nighttime. And the way you craft these things right here is all you need is a honeycomb, which I'm glad they've added some more functionality. They've added a lot more functionality for the honeycomb, actually, in this snapshot. You need that in a string, like the wick, this being the wax of a candle. And you put these in a crafting table, one above the other, and you get a candle. Then all you need to do is add your dye to the candle, and you make a colored candle. Now, I did test this out. You can't just put the dye with the string and honeycomb, unfortunately. Maybe they'll do that. But you're probably wondering, what are all these blocks here, in case you've been in the dark? This is copper right here. This is a new ore. I'm not going to show off ore generation in this snapshot because let me just say, it spawns very common. It's between coal and iron is what they said. And they mentioned that the current generation of ores isn't going to make it into the final update, so they already plan on replacing it, so I'm not going to spend much time trying to cover it. But once you do get it, you can smelt it in a furnace like anything else. Throw that in there, throw that in there. And of course, blast furnace, cook it twice as fast. You will get a copper ingot. This is what they look like right here. They're actually quite useful. But, despite what you might think looking at this and seeing it's an ingot, you can't make tools or armor out of it. However, if you have 4 of these, as I am displaying over here, get 4 copper ingots, you can turn it into a copper block. Now, I believe you need 4 of these copper blocks in order to make... Are we going to get it in time for me to finish this sentence? I don't think so. I'm going to go over here and steal this. You know what? I'm just going to use a jump cut. Alright. So if you use 4 copper blocks, I believe you put it like this, you get cut copper. This looks a little bit different. I'll place this down here. They've changed the texture around already once before, so I wouldn't be surprised. Now this, you can make slabs out of, and you can also make stairs. And once you make slabs out of them or stairs, copper, as shown in Minecon Live or Minecraft Live or whatever they're calling it now, roughly every 80 in-game days. So this is a long time. It will pass into one of these phases. So let me just get these for the normal copper blocks. So you'll place it down and it'll start like this, and then about 80 days will pass and your copper block will turn into a lightly weathered copper block. And then and then after another 80 days, a semi-weathered copper block. And then a weathered copper block, which has a capital K at the end because it's a mistake. I honestly like this one and this one the most. I don't like the middle two stages. This I can see good for some underwater builds, but this is just a bit too pinkish. But on another use of an obscure item, I'm glad they're doing that in this update. They're putting to use some less used items. If you put 2 string here and here, and then rabbit hide, as such, you can get the bundle. Now this item can store up to a stack of anything, but only a stack. So for instance, if I get this flint and steel and I put this in here, I can't put anything else in there because that is a stack of flint and steel. But let's say I were to get these 62 steak, and I can put 2 copper ingots in it, and I just right click and it all comes out. So I can put, 34 copper ingots in there, and then I'll put the rest of that cut copper in there, and it only counts as 37. Now, the upside of this is it's easy for early mid game storage when you have a lot of generic and small items, but late game I don't see this being that useful. I'm definitely going to use it, especially for shulker boxes where you have odd amounts of ingots and nuggets for gold and iron, but other than that, I don't see it being all too useful. Another minor thing they added, this is a parody feature off of Bedrock. You can now put lava in cauldrons, which means you can throw items out now. It's an actual trash can, but be careful, if you step in it, you're going to catch on fire, which brings me... No, it doesn't bring me into anything. I'm going to put myself in this cauldron, which is to be revealed later. But if you want to stop any of your copper paraphernalia from weathering, all you need to do is get more honeycomb, which they're really putting to use in this update. And let's say you have a lightly weathered cut copper stairs, which is now the longest item name in Minecraft, taking the position from, I believe it was, cracked polished blackstone bricks, but I'm not sure. Let's say you have your lightly weathered cut copper stairs here, and you love them the way they are. You don't want them to turn into semi-weathered, and that's a skeleton. Allow me to eat here. I don't know why I allowed it to go to night. Alright. Let's put that back up there. So as I was saying, you have your lightly weathered cut copper stairs, and you want to keep them like that. All you have to do is put a honeycomb, and I was wrong. These are not the longest item name in Minecraft. But what is the waxed, lightly weathered cut copper stairs. And waxed blocks act exactly the same, except they can't change stages. And something I personally don't like about these features right here is, one, you obviously have a whole lot of variance. Alright. Let's just set it to that. I don't even have any mobs out here right now. But that's how that is. Well, so you can wax any one of these. In fact, you can wax all of these. I don't know. Okay, you can't wax weathered cut copper stairs. Or actually weathered cut copper anything, or weathered anything. That makes sense, because why would you wax it? It's at its fullest stage of deterioration or weatheredness, I guess. But what I don't like about this, and what I noticed, is you cannot, let's say you had a lot of lightly weathered copper blocks. You can't turn that into any lightly weathered cut copper, and then from there you can't, basically, once it progresses a stage, you can't turn it into anything. I think it would be cool is if you had, for instance, some weathered cut copper, you could turn it into stairs and slabs. I think that would be useful. But up next, another use for copper is to make the lightning rod right here. All you need are 3 copper ingots, and let's set that to rain and thunder. This lightning rod will attract all lightning. It said from a 16 by 4 block radius. I'm not sure of exactly what that means. Let me read here on the change log real quick, see if I can get any further understanding. Lightning rod. 4 by 16 blocks around. It from the, yeah. Well, you just saw right there, and right there. When lightning strikes, it will strike it, and it outputs a redstone signal. It's a full redstone signal. Something else, this is the first block that can be hit with a channeling trident that will summon lightning. Normally you have to throw it at an entity to do that, but that's what it can do. And when it gets struck by lightning, as you saw with the lighting up right there, it does output a redstone signal. That I can imagine being used for some stuff, and since it attracts lightning, maybe automatic charged creeper farms for mob heads. And I also noticed that you do indeed get a lot more skeleton horsemen riding around and spawning right next to it. I don't know if that's a coincidence or not. But next up, we have these little underground structures that generate now, and conveniently there's one all the way down here. I'm of course talking about the geodes. Oh, sorry. And you might be able to hear that if I walk on or punch any of these amethyst blocks, they make very nice noises. And these amethysts here are what's known as amethyst clusters, I believe. Let me see. Amethyst clusters, yes. And this is how they spawn. This block right here is called tuff. And this is called calcite. They spawn in outer rings of the geodes when they're not interrupted by a cave like this was here. So it's roughly like this. You have your amethyst core, calcite, and then tuft. Or tuff, not tuft. I don't know why I threw a T on it. But if you get a fortune pick and mine a amethyst cluster, you will get shards. Now they do amethyst bunches, I think they are. Buds. Spawn in smaller forms. They don't drop anything when they're mined. And they of course bud from these right here, which you can see are slightly different than the adjacent blocks, which these can be mined. These are the block of amethyst. They also make nice noises, but these budding amethysts can't be mined, and when you do mine them, they break. I don't think you can push them by piston either, so if you want to farm this, you have to keep it where it is. Now allow me to turn that back to normal levels. So I'm going to take some of these amethyst shards here. And of course you can craft these amethyst shards. I believe you need 9. No, you need 4 to craft a block of amethyst. So, be free. Now, let's head back up here and I'll show you some of the uses. Oh, there's some copper ore right there. There you go. You get to see it generate naturally. But, if we go get a couple of these copper ingots out of here, and all we need are 2 copper ingots like this, and 1 amethyst shard, and you have yourself the spyglass. It was originally called the telescope during Minecon Live, but they decided to change it for one reason or another. I'm not quite sure why. I looked it up. The only difference is a spyglass is less powerful. But this spyglass, it allows you to zoom in on things. So say if I wanted to look at that desert over there, now it's a whole lot bigger. It doesn't extend your render distance, but it does zoom in a whole lot, which I like. It has this little glass overlay texture. And it looks like this if you go into F5 mode. There's no hotkey like Optifine or anything like that where you can use it. It has to be either in your offhand or it either has to be in your offhand or in your main hand, and you have to right click to use it. Now, something I don't like about this is when you're holding it, it looks like this. I think it should be full-sized always and then just be at your side, but hey, those are the small details. The last and only other use for amethyst shards right now is if you get glass, which I meant to have on me, but I just stole it from that display up there, and do that, you can get 2 tinted glass. Now, the whole thing with tinted glass is it doesn't allow light through. So you might have seen when I was coming back from over here. Oh! This wasn't intended. However, this will demonstrate to you this new block, powdered snow. Basically, as you saw earlier, a cauldron can now be filled with snow, same way it does with water. And when that happens, and it fills all the way up, you can right-click a bucket on it to get powdered snow. You can place that, and it's a trap block. I can't jump out of this. I put this here as a demonstration, and I forgot to demonstrate it. But as you see, when you get far enough in, and you're in for long enough, your hearts turn blue, and you're zoomed in, you have this frost effect around the outer edges. And I cannot jump out of this to save my life. I can start seeing the surface. But I cannot break out. Alright, well, I'm just going to break that and then break that. It's real quick to break, so that's not a problem. But now if I go over, I moved the demonstration and never put it back. So what we're going to do is it's just going to appear in my inventory.